Sagarika Mohanty. Welcome to Business Studies classes. In previous classes, we discussed about the topic related to Genstock company. And in these classes, we will discuss the new topic. This is types of company. So, the company is basically categorized into three major categories. One is private company. Second is public company. And third one is OPC. So to form a private company, minimum member is required 2 and maximum is 200. And to form a public company, minimum member is required 7 and maximum is no limit. So there is no limit in case of maximum member in case of your public limited company. And OPC is related to the one person company. So one person can be form a company and this name is OPC. And the public company is a company which is not a private company. So we can discuss this topic through a comparison chart. So this is related to the comparison chart among the private company and public company. First point is minimum member. To form a private company, minimum member is required 2. And in case of public company, minimum member is required 7. And the maximum limit is 200 in case of private company and there is no maximum limit in case of public company. Number of directors required in case of private company is at least 2 and there is at least 3 directors required to form a public company. The next is minimum paid up capital. So first the meaning of paid up capital. Paid up capital is a capital amount which is received by the company from their shareholders for exchange of shares in the stock market. So basically the paid up capital amount is rupees 1 lakh. And the public company's paid up capital is rupees 5 lakh and this can be more as per the time and this is varies as per the time. Next is transfer of shares. Transfer of share is related to the buying and selling activities related to the shares. So there is restriction in case of the private company and there is no transfer of share in case your private company. But there is no restriction on the transfer of shares in case of public company. And the last is invitations to public. Here the private company cannot invite the public to subscribe their share because there is restriction on the transfer of share. But the public company can invite the public to subscribe their shares or debentures. So this is the basic difference between the private company and public company. Now we discuss the concept of one person company. So one person company can be better understood through the comparison chart among the sole proprietor and one person company. As we know that to start a sole proprietorship business, there is only one member is required. Or we can say that there is only one owner in case of your sole proprietor's business. And here is also one member is required to form a one person company. So the basic difference between the sole proprietor and one person company is first is formation. To form a sole proprietorship business, there is easy to formation and in one person company there is difficult to formation of one person company because to form a company there is various legal requirements are required. For this purpose the formation is difficult in process. Next is registration. To register the sole proprietorship business, we can say that there is not compulsory, there is optional. But in case of the one person company, the registration is compulsory. Next is legal existence. No separate legal entity in case of the sole proprietor. But in one person company, there has a separate legal entity where the owner and the company are two different entities. Next is continuity. As the life is certain and short in case of sole proprietorship business because there is one owner to start a business, and the continuity of the business is depends upon the life of the owner. But here the continuity is related to the perpetual succession, because it is the characteristics of a company that the company continue for the longer period. Next is liability. Liability is a burden of the company, and there is unlimited liability in case of the sole proprietorship business, where the personal asset is responsible to recover the business debt in case of the sole proprietorship business. But in company there is a limited liability of the member. That means only the business asset is responsible to recover the business debt. And the last one, the major difference among the sole proprietor and one person company is related to the nominee. In sole proprietorship business, there is no requirement of any nominees. But in the one person company business, nominee is mandatory or compulsory. Before we will start the topic related to the formation of the company, it is important to discuss the two terms related to the formation of company, that is Memorandum of Association and Article of Association. Now we discuss the topic related to the Memorandum of Association. So Memorandum of Association is shortly known as MOA. And the memorandum means it is specified in the section 2 subsection 56 of Companies Act 2013, or the memorandum means Memorandum of Association, and this is a principal document of the company, and this is also known as Charter of the Company. So this is related to a document define the object for which the company is formed. So basically why the company is formed is related to the Memorandum of Association, and this is a document, and this document is contains the power of the company, the objective of the company, it defines the scope of the company, it also defines its operation of the company, it defines the relation with the investors, and also defines the relation with the outside world. So this is the topic related to the Memorandum of Association. So these are the basic the content related to the Memorandum of Association. So first content is name clause. As the name suggests over, the meaning of name is related to the name of the company or which the company will be known is related to the name clause, and such name is approved by the ROC, and ROC is the register of the company. The next is registered office clause. Registered office clause is related to the content, the name of the state in which the registered office of the company is proposed to be situated. So this is related to the name of the state in which the registered office of the company is situated, and this is also known as situation clause and domicile clause. The next is object clause. So object clause is related to the objective of the company. So this clause is define the purpose for which the company is formed. So related to the purpose of the company or the motive behind to form a company. And this is related to the main clause and main objective and other objects. And basically the fact is the object must not be illegal and in conflict with the provision of the Companies Act 2013. Next is liability clause. Liability is related to the burden of the company. Here the clause states the liability of the member of the company is limited to the amount of unpaid shares owned by them. And the next is capital clause. Capital clause is related to the state the maximum amount of the capital with the member of the company will be authorized, and such maximum amount is also known as authorized capital. And it is also noted that the company cannot issue the excess amount mentioned in this clause. So that means there is a limit for the members of the company, and they cannot be issued as per this limit. So next is association clause. So association clause is related to the consent and intentions of the signatories of the company to association with the companies. So signatories are the basically the persons who sign the Memorandum of Association or who sign the document of the Memorandum of Association of the company. So here the minimum member is required to sign the Memorandum of Association in case of public company is 7, And in case of a minimum member is required in case of the private company to sign the memorandum of association is 2. So this is related to the content of memorandum of association. Next document is required in case of the formation of the company is article of association. And this is just like a memorandum of association. This is also a document. And this is also known as, in a short form, this is AOA. So the article of association is a document which contains the rules and regulations for the internal management. So to manage the internal affairs of the company, whatever the rules and regulations are required, this is related to the article of association. And this is the subsidiary of the memorandum of association. And this specifies section 2 of subsection 5 of the Companies Act 2013, where articles means the article of association. And this can be changed according to the time and situations. This is basically related to the contents related to the article of association. So these are the basically contents. First is voting rights of the members, general related to the detail of the general meeting, audit committee, and it also detail about the nominees and directors, the directors and their appointment, their delegations, powers of the directors of the company. Also, so the detail relating to the managing directors, whole-time directors, or the manager or the secretary, and also mention the remuneration of the directors. Also details relating to the borrowing powers of the company, related to the dividend and reserve. Dividend is a part of the profit, and it is related to the also showing the accounts and audit, and also define that indemnity is related to the compensation of the company, and also related to the winding of the company. Winding of the company is related to the close down of the companies and their terms and conditions. So these are the basically contents related to the article of association. So this is all about today's class. Thank you for watching me.